The alarm clock is a violent invention. Consider how you woke up this morning. A digital shriek tore you from a deep cycle. Your heart rate spiked. Your cortisol surged. You dragged yourself out of bed, groggy, disoriented, reaching for caffeine to chemically override the exhaustion that sits in your bones. You slept for 7, maybe 8 hours. You did exactly what the doctors, the health apps, and the productivity gurus told you to do. And you are still tired. Now, transport yourself back to a peasant cottage in 1350. There are no alarms. There are no streetlights bleeding through the shutters. The peasant wakes up, but not because he has to commute to a cubicle. He wakes up because his body is finished with its first cycle. He feels alert, calm. He spends an hour or two awake in the quiet darkness, praying, tending the fire, talking softly with his wife. And then he drifts back into a second, deep sleep until dawn. When he rises with the sun, he is not fighting brain fog. He is energized. His endocrine system is balanced. His mind is clear. He didn't have a memory foam mattress. He didn't have white noise machines. He didn't have climate control. But he had something you have lost. He had a relationship with light and rhythm that kept the human species alive and sane for 200,000 years. The modern way we sleep, one solid 8-hour block of unconsciousness, is not biological law. It is a recent industrial invention. And it is breaking you. There is a reason you wake up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. There is a reason you need blue light blockers. There is a reason insomnia is an epidemic. The problem isn't that you can't sleep. The problem is that you are trying to sleep in a way your body was never designed to handle. Before we go further, drop a comment below. Do you wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep? Do you feel like something is wrong with you because you can't stay down for 8 straight hours? Tell me your experience, because what you are about to learn will validate every frustration you have ever felt in the dark. Today, we are going to dismantle the myth of the 8-hour night. We are going to look at the history of segmented sleep, the photobiology of the light bulb, and the temperature regulation that modern houses have destroyed. By the end, you will understand why the medieval peasant slept better on straw than you sleep on a $3,000 mattress. And you will know exactly how to fix it. Let's start with the biggest lie you've been told, that healthy humans sleep in one continuous block. For the vast majority of human history, this was simply not true. In the early 2000s, historian Roger E. Kirsch uncovered a massive body of evidence that changed sleep science forever. He combed through diaries, court records, medical texts, and literature from the medieval and early modern periods. He found hundreds of references to something called first sleep and second sleep. In the Canterbury Tales, in the Odyssey, in colonial court depositions, people spoke of sleep not as a single event, but as 2 distinct phases. Here is how it worked. You went to bed shortly after sundown, around 9 or 10 p.m. You slept deeply for about 4 hours. Then you woke up. This wasn't insomnia. This was expected. This waking period was called the watch. It lasted an hour or 2. People used this time. They didn't lie there stressing about tomorrow's meeting. They checked the animals. They added wood to the fire. They prayed. They conceived children. It was a time of profound calm. Physiologically, this state is unique. During this period of wakefulness in the dark, the pituitary gland releases high levels of prolactin. Prolactin is the hormone of relaxation. It creates a feeling of peace and well-being. It is the chemical opposite of the stress and anxiety you feel when you wake up today and look at the clock. After the watch, the medieval sleeper would feel a wave of drowsiness return. They would slide into second sleep, another 4-hour cycle that lasted until dawn. This biphasic pattern, 2 phases, is the natural rhythm of the human animal when removed from artificial light. In the 1990s, the National Institute of Mental Health conducted a study where they took modern people and deprived them of artificial light at night for weeks. At first, they slept long hours to catch up on debt. But then, something incredible happened. They all spontaneously reverted to the medieval pattern. First sleep. The watch. Second sleep. Their bodies remembered what their culture had forced them to forget. So why do we sleep in one block now? The Industrial Revolution. Factory owners in the 19th century didn't care about your circadian rhythm. They cared about efficiency. They needed workers on the floor at 7 a.m., and they wanted them working until dark. The two-sleep system was inefficient. It took too long. It wasted the night. Streetlights were installed to conquer the darkness. Coffee became a staple to override the morning grogginess. The medical establishment began labeling segmented sleep as a disorder. We consolidated our rest into a single efficient 8-hour block to serve the machine. And now, when you wake up at 3 a.m., you panic. You think you have insomnia. You reach for sleeping pills. You are medicating your body for doing exactly what it evolved to do. But the schedule is only half the problem. The environment is the other half. A medieval night was dark. Truly, completely dark. When the sun went down, the only light came from the moon, the stars, and fire. Firelight is crucial. A candle or a hearth emits light in the red and orange spectrum. It has a long wavelength and very low energy. Your eyes have specific receptors called melanopsin retinal ganglion cells. These receptors are the switch for your circadian clock. When they detect blue light, the high-energy light of the midday sun, they tell your pineal gland to stop producing melatonin. They scream at your brain, "It is daytime. Be alert, hunt, gather." Firelight does not trigger these receptors. You can stare into a fire for hours, and your melatonin production continues uninterrupted. The medieval peasant could function in the evening without confusing his biology. Now look at your evening. You turn on overhead LED lights. You stare at a television. You scroll on your phone. Modern LEDs and screens emit a massive spike in the blue spectrum, around 460 nanometers. This is junk light. It is biologically toxic at night. When you look at your phone at 10 p.m., you are chemically tricking your brain into believing it is noon. Your melatonin production crashes. Your cortisol, the stress hormone, elevates. You are physically exhausted, but your biochemistry is wired and tired. You lie in bed, and even if you fall asleep, the quality of that sleep is degraded. You spend less time in REM, less time in deep restorative sleep. The medieval peasant didn't need blue blocking glasses because he didn't live in a world that was trying to hack his endocrine system. He lived in a world where the sun went down. The light turned orange, and his body knew exactly what to do. If this is valuable to you, hit that like button. It helps this information reach people who need it. Let's talk about temperature, because this is where modern comfort has become a metabolic disaster. To initiate deep sleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit. This drop is the trigger that transitions your brain from wakefulness to sleep. In a medieval home, this happened naturally. The house was not climate controlled. As the fire died down, the room temperature dropped. In winter, the air in the bedroom might be 40 or 50 degrees. This sounds miserable to you, but it was actually perfect for sleep hygiene, provided you had the right covers. The peasant burrowed under heavy wool blankets, sheepskins, or a down tick. This created a microclimate. The air around the face was cool and fresh, allowing heat to escape from the head. A primary radiator. The body was warm, but the environment signaled a temperature drop. This contrast, warm bed, cold room, is essentially a sleep switch for the human body. Now look at the modern home. We set the thermostat to 72 degrees and leave it there 24 hours a day. Our houses are insulated boxes that trap heat. We sleep under synthetic polyester comforters that don't breathe. Your body tries to dump heat to initiate sleep, but the environment fights back. You toss and turn. You kick off the covers, then get cold, then pull them back up. You are thermally confused. Without that clear environmental signal of cooling, your sleep cycles become shallow. You wake up dehydrated and groggy. The medieval peasant, sleeping in a drafty cottage under 40 pounds of wool, was utilizing a thermal technology that your HVAC system actively destroys. And then there is the soundscape. We think of the medieval world as loud. Animals, church bells, crowded cities, and in some places it was. But the quality of the noise was different. It was organic. Today we deal with infrasound and constant low-frequency hums. The refrigerator compressor, the HVAC fan, the traffic drone from the highway 3 miles away, the 60-cycle hum of the electrical grid in your walls. Our brains are designed to filter out natural sounds, wind, rain, even voices. But these mechanical drones are evolutionarily novel. Some research suggests that constant low-level industrial noise keeps the nervous system in a state of low-grade vigilance. You never truly hit the deepest floor of relaxation because your brain is processing the hum of the machine. The medieval night was silent in a way we can scarcely imagine. A heavy, thick silence that allowed the nervous system to completely decompress. So, where does this leave us? You cannot dismantle the electrical grid. You cannot tell your boss you need a 2-hour break at 11 a.m. because you were awake for your watch last night. We live in the modern world, but we do not have to be victims of it. We can reclaim the principles of medieval sleep without giving up central heating entirely. First, and most importantly, you must declare war on blue light after sundown. This is non-negotiable. If you want the energy of a medieval peasant, you have to respect the sun. Get red light bulbs for your bedside lamps. Turn off the overheads 2 hours before bed. If you must look at screens, use software that shifts them to red. Not just night mode yellow, but deep red. Or better yet, turn them off. Read a paper book by low light. You will feel the difference in 3 days. The drowsiness will hit you naturally, like a wave, not like a crash. Second, manufacture the temperature drop. Turn your thermostat down at night. Way down. 65 degrees. 62 if you can handle it. But here is the key. You need to upgrade your bedding. You cannot sleep in a cold room with a thin, cheap blanket. You need weight and insulation. Wool blankets are the gold standard. They breathe, they regulate moisture, and they provide the weight that calms the nervous system. Get a heavy duvet. Create that microclimate. Cold nose, warm body. Your body will recognize the signal and drop you into deep sleep faster than any pill. Third, stop fearing the wake-up. This is psychological judo. When you wake up at 3 a.m., do not get angry. Do not look at the clock. Do not calculate how many hours you have left before the alarm. Accept it. Tell yourself, this is the watch. Your ancestors used this time. It is a biological feature, not a bug. Lie there in the dark. Meditate. Pray. Let your mind wander. Enjoy the silence. If you don't fight it, if you don't spike your cortisol with frustration, the second sleep will come. And when it does, it will be sweeter and deeper than the first. Fourth, embrace the morning light. The medieval peasant began his day outside. The moment the sun came up, he was bathed in full spectrum light. This sets the circadian clock for the next night. You wake up and stay inside. You drink coffee in a dim kitchen. You drive in a car with UV blocking windows. You sit in an office. You are light-starved during the day and light-poisoned at night. Get outside for 10 minutes within an hour of waking up. Let the photons hit your retina. It anchors your biology in the physical world. The medieval peasant was not trying to biohack his sleep. He wasn't obsessing over sleep stages or Oura ring scores. He was simply living in alignment with the planet. He worked when it was light. He rested when it was dark. He respected the cold. He used the quiet. We traded that alignment for convenience. We traded the watch for the late-night show. We traded the heavy wool blanket for the thermostat. And we traded our energy for exhaustion. You have the power to switch back. You can build a sanctuary of the past inside your modern home. You can turn off the lights. You can cool down the room. You can welcome the silence. And you can finally get the rest that your DNA has been screaming for. Which part of the modern sleep environment do you think is doing the most damage?
the blue light from phones, or the stress of the 8-hour expectation?
Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you want more forgotten wisdom that outperforms modern technology.